for it. Did I miss the ratchet news? Was that
No,
late?
no, no. I had to kind of run back the intro, you know what I'm saying? And I had to make that one on the fly. I ain't gonna lie. I had every intent on doing everything this morning, but then, of course, work calls and then other thing calls. And then I'm over here just thinking like, man, why the hell am I here? And then, so by the time I get back, the one thing I did do the ratchet news this morning. So that was all out of the way.
Oh, there you go.
Man,
There you go, sir. Way to be
despite what
prepared.
certain hate motherfuckers say, this is damn near a production. I work kind of hard. Stop.
Hey, no, for real.
Bunch of saltines.
No, for real. Yeah, a lot of thought and effort go into these shows, man. For real. We congregate about topics and discuss and send information back and forth and chats and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah,
we might
a lot of work
for this. We might have that at the party where we get down and rugged, down and ratchet. We actually talk about some ish because I don't know. I've been trying to get stuff off my chest and trying to let things go, but I've been praying on it, boy. I don't know. One thing I can't stand is liars. I can't stand over exaggerators. I can't stand drama. You know what I'm saying? I'm at a place in my life where I just want peace. And you know what I mean? And I try to be as peaceful as I can, but if people want funk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. Well, this is the one thing I have learned about praying. Once I pray on it, you gotta let it sit there. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
A lot of people pray and then they answer themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because they get tired of waiting on the answer. You know what I mean?
So. We got Pastor Quez in the house. That's some truth.
That would just be my experience, man. You know what I'm saying? Just pray and wait for the answer. Don't answer yourself, man.
Right.
That's all I can give you. But outside of that, man, let's get into some ratchet news.
Yeah, I was acting kind of ratchet. I was on my ratchet soapbox, but here we go with some ratchet news.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy 30 Green. We're back with more ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So, let's go. Homegrowns are next. Trump provokes fears for black U.S. citizens with legally dubious deportation proposal. Crazy. But what's even crazier, Home Alone 2 director says Donald Trump's cameo should be taken out of film. Crazy because that movie came out in like 1994 and they want him out of here, right? But moving on. An alleged arsonist set fire to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's home last night. Crazy. Moving on. It is being said that Michael Jackson is officially the most depicted figure in arts history besides Jesus Christ. Michael Jackson kind of a big thing, right? Moving on. Jay-Z and Beyonce removed from Diddy freak-off lawsuit after attorney shows proof they weren't in Miami during the alleged incident. Starting to unravel, y'all. Moving on. Mississippi Deacon Eddie Shedd dies trying to save others from gunfire Easter egg hunt. Man, our prayers go out to him and his family. Moving on. Maya Campbell speaks out, thanks fans for their support, and shares career hopes. And she's doing good. She's out here looking healthy, as opposed to last time we've seen her. And she actually reached out to Tyler Perry via messages, pretty much saying that, Perry should adapt her mother's novel, 72-Hour Hold. I think it'll be powerful, and I think she should play the main character. You know what I'm saying? So prayers up to her. Glad to see her on the road to recovery. Moving on. Chris Brown reconnect with Tiana Taylor and shares laughs with Karrueche Tran at Coachella 2025. It looked like he's trying to circle back, get that old thing back. I don't blame him, Breezy. Do your thing. I just want to see him winning. Moving on. But in toxic news, Ray J and Princess Love caught kissing at Millennium Tour after 4th divorce filing. Just toxic, right? I hope they can get it together for the sake of the kids, but it's just messy. You know what I mean? But hey, moving on. Scientists may have actually found one of the causes of autism. Let's go. Let's get it done and let's find out so we can start saving some babies. All right, moving on. A 39-year-old woman invested a $10K in a dating coach and got a fiance. Question is, would you? We're going to talk about this on a future show. Moving on. Bernie Mac cast member turns to OnlyFans. Camille Winbush says it saved her life, so baby girl from the show follows suit. Crazy, right? Moving on. Tommy Davidson to reprise iconic Martin role in new BET Plus spinoff, The Vernell Hill Show. I'll be tuning in. I want to see what they're going to do with this, right? Moving on. Why they got to do LeBron like this? Not during playoffs, man. Moving on. Tupac, unalive suspect. Keefe D found guilty in prison brawl. Good for me. Peace, nigga. All right, moving on. Ashanti Wild's American Idol 2025 announces new single called You Up and embraces mentorship role. Salute to her. She's doing her thing. Moving on. Oh, so now Princess Love blames alcohol after passionate kiss with Ray J at Millennium Store stop in Miami. Yeah, right. Blaming on alcohol, right? Moving on. Centenary Williams' husband arrested on child X abuse charges after she shoots him for allegedly molesting children at her daycare facility. I think you should free her, man. Temporary sanity or something. You know, hey, she did what she was trying to do to try to protect those kids, man. All right, but we'll talk more about this later. Moving on. Now, why is this an accurate Black Raider fan starter pack? This is accurate too, minus the Black and Miles, which I don't do no more. But the Hennessy, you're right. Moving on. Girl who got her master's degree at 14 has just earned her doctoral degree at 17. Man, salute. Black excellence at its finest. Do your thing, queen. Moving on. Stevie J says he taught Eve how to bathe. Like, she didn't know how to do that already? Like, what type of girls you messing with, bro? She don't know how to bathe. You know what I mean? It's kind of foul. I don't believe that, though. Moving on. I was just here. Barnes & Noble's opening up dozens of new stores nationwide, and here's where. Hey, they're bringing some to California, so I love Barnes & Noble. Shout out to them. Moving on. Filipino town in Las Vegas is officially approved. Let's go. When he gets some lumpia next time I'm out there. Moving on. Serena Williams quote, "I would never do that, and that was sad that anyone would ever think like that." Serena Williams' denies Crip walk was aimed at Drake. Yeah, right. Moving on. Well, she did quote, "Obviously, I can see how someone would think that, but absolutely not." Again, yeah, right. Do your thing. I'm petty too. Moving on. Target update. Target loses more than $12.4 billion, but loss continues. Now, Target staff suffers 8th week of foot traffic losses since caving into DEI. What's even crazy is Target CEO to meet with Reverend Al Sharpton to discuss the company's rollback on DEI initiatives. Man, they're always got to call and pick one of us, right? Moving on. Speaking of Michael Ealy to portray Malcolm X in Prime Video's limited series, The Greatest, which is based off Muhammad Ali. Let's go. I think he's going to do great. Moving on. Astronomers say they discovered the strongest evidence of life beyond our solar system on a planet named K2-18b, located 124 light years from Earth. Listen to some of these weirdos and some of these bird-beating motherfuckers over there, all right? Let's get them on up out of here. Moving on. Entire island of Puerto Rico hit by blackout before Easter. Prayers up to them. Moving on. Bobby Brown was on Club Shay Shay, and he picks Chris Brown over Usher, closer to Michael Jackson. Can't be mad at that. Speaking of, we're going to have a great debate on here tonight, too. Moving on. Well, before we move on, Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, Usher, and R. Kelly is put on the R&B male Mount Rushmore. So we're going to talk about that and have a debate. But moving on now. Democrats think that Wes Moore could win the presidency in 2028. Well, some Democrats, mainly George Clooney, but we shall see. We need a game plan. Moving on. Last but not least, the UK Supreme Court has ruled that trans women can now be legally identified as women. They about to stir up some controversy with that one, right? We shall keep you tuned in, but that's all I got, so. I'm Third Degree, that's been Ratchet News. Enjoy the show. Peace.
You always laugh, man. That's why I know I did something funked up.
No, it was good, man. It was good. I'm laughing about Ray J, silly ass, man. Man,
Yo.
Hey, the court needs to ban them from coming up there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if y'all work it out or y'all don't, either way, it ain't our business. You know what I'm saying? Y'all going
like, man, one minute they love each other, next minute I hate you. I'm divorcing you. And it's a new storyline for one of their shows. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, excuse me. Shout out to that young sister who got her doctoral degree at 17, man. That's amazing. Shouts out to that sister. What else was in there that was good? I do kind of agree with Bobby on that one. I know we're gonna talk about it tonight, because you know that's your R&B savior. But
I didn't see all that. Whoa.
You can't say nothing about my Bobby. You know what I'm saying?
Bobby is king. You know what I'm saying? King is that dude. Bobby is dope. That's my homeboy, Bob. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work on trying to get him on the show. See if I talk with him. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Bob is cool. Bob is cool.
For sure.
We got somebody coming in midway during the show.
Oh, okay. But yeah, man.
Talk to the people for a second, Quest.
I got you. Yeah, but yeah, man. I think Bobby right about Chris Breezy, man. He's a hell of an entertainer, all around talented young man. So hopefully we can get into that. And then, hey, man, I don't know who said that, man. Who is Westmore? I'm trying to figure out who he is. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You said who?
Westmore. They're supposed to run for president. We just
it's somebody that George Clooney. It's somebody that George Clooney. It literally was just George Clooney. I mean, I'm having some research. I don't know if he got a book like Obama did, but my grandma was the one who put me on to Obama. She said, "Hey, take this book," which she often did. If she found a good read, she'd give it to me to read. She said, "Take this here because I think this man, he's going to be the next president." And I'm like, I said, "Grandma, yeah, right. Black man, president." I didn't want to read it at first, and then I read it, and I'm like, this dude's actually kind of dope. And next he went on to become a president. So
yeah. Well, we shall see. I was like, damn, I ain't hear nobody say that. That's what I was curious. Like, who said this?
George Clooney, man, he was up there campaigning. I'm gonna send you the video, but he was up there campaigning from heart. Like, I think he's going to be the next one. He's good character. He served in Iraq, or what I mean, like he making sure to say that he served. You know what I'm saying? Like some people. Hey, what's up, Adoration? Yeah, we wish he was on too. Everybody was late today. It's been a tiring, draining week. I was almost late. I was almost late myself. But I was like, not today. And I was actually on time by the skin of my teeth.
What up, Jess? How you feeling?
The air. I was cooking. He knew what I was doing.
Hey, he wasn't here. He was not here when the show started.
Man, no, he gonna want to play. You know what I'm saying? No, he gonna want to play. He in here talking shit. You know what I'm saying? I would give him shit. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be over here trying to instigate. You sound like somebody that we know instigating to starting shit.
I'm just saying, throw that man a pack of ramen and tell him figure it out. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah, no, Adoration. I appreciate your dedication because you be halfway around the world. You show up. You know what I'm saying? Jess shows up because she got some multi-million and one things to do. You know what I'm saying? On top of being a mom and, you know what I'm saying, doing everything that she do. Quez, we got to be a peppy. He got work and he doing his thing. Make sure he run his house. So I appreciate everybody that takes the time to show up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Man.
But Adoration, do me a favor. Share this onto your feed, though. Share this onto your feed.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say happy Good Friday to those who you know what I'm saying, practice the faith, man. You know what I'm saying? Happy Good Friday to you guys. The Queen actually at church, so my house is quiet. You know
I can hear, man. I was hoping that she be here because we got an interesting one. It's actually a topic that Jess, she didn't even suggest it. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was interesting. I thought we should talk about it. But Black Maternal Health Week, you know what I'm saying, which it went from April 11th to the 17th, you know what I'm saying? So definitely, I have some experiences to talk about that, but I definitely want to hear women's perspectives. We're going to talk about Karmelo Anthony released on bond, you know what I'm saying, and the death threats that the judge and his family has been receiving, and I think the Metcalf family has been receiving some death threats too. And then we're also going to talk about Matt Barnes. This is something that MC Toes. That's what I'm saying, man. He always gives us a topic, and then he don't never show. You know what I mean? But it's Matt Barnes. He opens up about how he lost his family due to his infidelity or whatever, and he had an honest talk about somebody about crying and opening up, and it's one of those taboos that we talked about before within men's mental health. You know what I'm saying? Is crying considered weak? Is it good to show emotion? You know what I'm saying? And I definitely got some things to kind of talk about with that. So, we got a heavy one, but I was hoping that the Queen would be here. So definitely the Queen and Jess could talk about it.
She'll probably be stepping in soon. It's after 9:00, so
Oh yeah,
I don't know how long church gonna go.
Some churches out in the IE, man, they say they hold you for 4 or 5 hours. Man. You know how you be sitting in there, you be hungry, like yo, just come on, man.
Hey, that part. That's why I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Go on without me. Save yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nah, it has been a long week though, for real. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, the baby got sick, and even going to urgent care for the past 3 days to get shots and all kind of stupid stuff.
Man, so, is he getting better? Because I definitely, that time when we were talking, I heard him. I heard all the congestion is low.
It's clearing up. It's clearing up. So it's where he looked a lot better today when I came home. So
good.
Saying his little spirits is up, but man, it didn't messed up his whole little sleep schedule. You know what I mean? He up in the middle of the night tripping. Hey man, some of us got jobs, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta chill out. Nah, but for real, that's really all it's been though. You know, nothing outside the ordinary. Just his sleep pattern messed up, so of course, mine's messed up. So,
right,
we'll get after it though. But little man doing all right. Shout out to him. Yes, sir. But let's get after where we gonna start.
You know, since we got a few folks here, I kind of wanted to wait for more people to get in. Hold on. Adoration said churches be going on 6 hours and the crowd be like close.
Hey, thanks. Close the doors.
Close doors. Close the door. Close the door. Close the doors. So the way he said it, just smooth, just close the doors.
That's funny. Good stuff.
That was a good one. See, Adoration, yeah, we do miss you on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was guts. That was guts, man. But the church that my auntie be going to, man, she asked me to go to church with her one day, man, and it was just one of them churches where they kept us. And sometimes she'll go in at like 9:30, right? One time I picked her up literally like 1 o'clock, 1:30. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not on duty. Not on duty.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, man.
Occasionally, I can understand, but you know what I mean?
Right.
We ain't doing that.
It's not every week, but yeah, but it's close. Dang near close. But
he said it's close.
It's close. Close. I'm trying to tell you. Just know, just like, not I.
I'll walk out.
Now if they close the doors. Close doors. They get up and see her walking. No, close doors. Close doors. Close doors. But yeah, let's go ahead and get it started, yo. So hey, like I said, my bad. I had a million and trillion one things to do today, so I couldn't get the link in the description on YouTube. So my YouTube family, I apologize. But if you're on Facebook, I got the link. If you want to come on as a guest in the comment section, make sure that you know that you're in a nice, quiet spot. You got your Wi-Fi popping. If you're using your phone, make sure you have to use your headphones. They will work as a microphone. Your phone and everything picks up everything. So make sure that you know there's no eating. We don't want that all in the camera. We don't want noises in the background like any music from TVs or phones, whatever, because if it bleeds into the show, then it's gonna sit up there and it's gonna tag a copyright. I'm fighting my own damn copyrights with my own music. You know what I'm saying? So I damn near for sure don't want other people. It feels good when I can tell them like, no, I am Third Degree. This is my song Hood Rat, or this is my song Beast Mode. And you know what I'm saying? And then they release the dispute. But I'm trying to tell you it's a headache. So also too, you know, again, we are a live show. This is a production. So just know that we are live, and just know that there's topics that we may tap into that may get passionate, get heated. For those who are just tuning in or may jump in and check it out, we're not like this all the time. I don't want to hear that stigma like, oh, all they do is fight. All you do is sleep. No, that's not all we do. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, some things get passionate, and that's just what real, genuine people do. If they feel something they get passionate about and they speak on it. Just because you talk with a little bit of passion does not mean that you're angry or negative. It just means you're passionate. So, but we can agree to disagree. So, you know, but just make sure you agree to disagree respectfully. If there's any type of beef on the show, let's just leave it right here on the show. You know what I'm saying? Apologize and let's not get too personal, you know what I'm saying? But let's just be respectful. It's all about respect and it's all about love. This is a good place for you to come, drop your 3 cents, drop your thoughts, views, and opinions. And then we're gonna keep it like that. So you guys got anything you guys want to add that I may have missed?
No, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much summed it up, brother. Let's get after it.
We ain't gonna close the doors. We'll just kick you out. So.
Damn.
All right. Well, let's get into a few promos or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be right back.
Accomplish eliminating frizz and have that shiny look to your waves, you need a laydown pad. The Wave Essentials is having a sale right now for buy 2 get 1 free. With the little strap on the back, it makes it super easy to lay your hair down, and the plastic on the front helps with laying the hair down and creating that shine. Do this for about 10 to 15 minutes and you'll accomplish that shine and that laydown that you need. Nobody likes frizz, so make sure you go get your laydown pads before the sale is over.
Hello, family. I'm Marquez.
Hey, you guys, and I'm Denisha.
We all want the best for our children, right? Security, opportunities, and a future filled with endless possibilities.
That's right, but here's the question. What are you doing today to create that future? Imagine building a business that creates generational wealth, leaving a legacy that grows even when you're not working, showing your children what it means to dream big and take action.
That's right. With Planet Marketing, we offer you the opportunity to earn income while still being present with and for your family. We show you how to invest in their future while securing your own and teach them by example what financial freedom should look like.
And don't just tell your kids to dream big, show them how it's done.
That's right. Comment below or
you could just message us for a direct link to our presentation.
Yeah. You're wasting time.
And we are back. Yo, you know, we celebrate accomplishments and milestones on here too. So I got to give a shout out to me. You know, saying actually more so a thank you to everybody out there, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. I can't think of the streaming service out there in China, but you know, shout out to my people out there in China. Man, that single right there that you just heard, it's been like a year. Then we're going on a year since I re-released it. It's called Hood Rat. I just checked my stats, man. 16,000 units. 16,000 units, and that's independent. But you know, yeah, man. So I really didn't do a whole lot of promo, like, you know, putting the ads up or doing anything. So it's just literally just been word of mouth. TikTok, you know, TikTok has definitely helped. This show has helped. So I definitely want to salute everybody that went out, that's bumping it. To the folks that can't hear me, that can understand me in China, much love. It's them that's tripping. It's not everybody, especially me. If we can get things worked out, I would love to come out there and tour and to do a show out there in China. So if we know any people out there, any booking agents, whatever, I would love to come out and perform there. Japan, you know, saying it's been everywhere. So thank you again.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to
units, bro. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers be talking shit.
Yeah, that's a real big accomplishment for real. For real. You know that what's funny is they have a real big hip hop culture over there. You know what I mean? They might be a little bit backdated, but they're getting it together, man. You know what I'm saying? They're into to the aesthetics of hip hop real big right now. You know what I mean? So, good job, bro.
Thank you, man.
Good job, man.
So
that boy overseas with it. Hey, I need to get me a wave pad, man. I didn't see their information on there, so I'm gonna get with you about that.
Gotcha. Yes, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Man, somebody else hit me up too about freeing up your credit. You know, she wants me to put together an ad for her, and so I'm gonna get that going for the next show. I've just been really crazy busy this week, so yeah, I had a lot of stuff to think about this week. You know, so third word. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to keep it positive. Like I said, I've been trying to pray, and you know, I'm gonna just say transparency. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I try to be with everybody. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things that I may omit or I'm not wholeheartedly, but you know, again, you see me on the show, you see me on the with my music, you see me even just on social media. I give a lot, you know what I'm saying? And so the one thing that I can just say is that, you know, I try to be as transparent as possible. But I would suggest that for everything and everything that you do, whatever relationship that you got, whatever business relationship you got, whatever friendship you got, transparency is definitely key. You know what I'm saying? You got to definitely build a team of people, a circle of people that you can be honest with, that you can be real with. Because if you can't be real with them, then you essentially can't be real with yourself, man. So what's the even point of having them around? So transparency, just be open, be an open book with certain things because you never know what someone may be going through. You never know the advice that, you know, someone can give. With me, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not perfect. I'm a work in progress. I've come a long way. There's still some things that, you know, I can grow on. But, you know, at the same time, I do believe I have a good circle of people who do definitely keep it real with me and I keep it real with them, you know?
Good word, man. Good word of the day.
Snake eyes. The snake eyes. But yeah, man. So let's get into this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Male R&B Mount Rushmore.
Oh Lord. Yeah, it's gonna be, boy. Yeah, you can't win coming out of this one, but it's okay. We're gonna get to
it. So with this, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who's been making these. They're actually kind of dope, but then they're actually kind of scary at the same time. But you know, it's caused up a stir to a certain extent. Somebody posted this as the male R&B Mount Rushmore, where you have this right here is Chris Brown. You have this over here is MJ, Michael Jackson, the King. Then you got this one over here who is Usher. Then you have R. Kelly, right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Now, it's actually a good lineup, though. You know what I'm saying? There's probably like one or two spots that people could argue. You know what I'm saying? And the third that I, you know, no pun intended, that I know everybody wants to argue is taking R. Kelly down. But you know what I'm saying? If we be honest,
Chris Brown too. I think people will argue about Chris Brown. But I think
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Him and Usher, you know, people can debate back and forth. Is you know, those are probably the one or two spots that you could finagle somebody.
Well, here's the thing though. People are trying to say take MJ out of it because they're trying to say that he's more pop than R&B. But you know, the thing about it is though, when Mike is he's well rounded, he's well versed. He has his roots in R&B. He sings pop, but let's not forget Butterflies. Let's not forget Lady in My Life. Let's not forget I Can't Help It. Let's not forget Liberian Girl. Let's not forget You Are Not Alone, which was written by this man right here, R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Mike is R&B, you know what I'm saying? But it's debatable because I hate these Mount Rushmores only because you only get to put 4. And I was talking with my homeboy Certified yesterday. You know, saying like you got to do like a top 10, top 15, because you know we're forgetting people like Sam Cooke, Stevie Wonder. Certified was putting me on the grill, raking me with the coals about Luther Vandross. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like he got to see and experience Luther up close and said Luther vocally puts a lot of people to shame. We're forgetting about the David Ruffins, you know what I'm saying? Like Marvin Gaye, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it causes a good debate. But even with MJ and with Prince, I think they're in a different category because MJ is definitely like the greatest entertainer of all time. That's like hands down. But then you have Prince, who I think is essentially almost up there because his musicianship, he's a well-rounded musician. He played, you know how many instruments he played and how many records he produced, and he ghost produced. He did a whole album on Shaka Khan. But even like with the time, he wrote and produced all of their records, and wrote and produced all of his, then wrote and produced Sheila E. and whoever else he was putting out, you know what I mean? So, Prince is definitely like up there, man. But yeah, these Mount Rushmores is kind of crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, it is hard to just squeeze four in there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, certified is he's absolutely correct. Because then, where do you put the Luthers and you know what I'm saying? Oh man, there's a lot of people that could definitely need like a top 10, man. I would go with that. But since we here, you know what I mean, we'll call this the Mount Rushmore of modern times. Let's say that.
Yeah,
let's give it that. You know what I'm saying?
So with that being said, Jess, because you're a music head just as equally as I am, make sure you guys are hitting the like and the share button. Share this on because we want to get this out with the people so they can debate with this too. But do you guys believe that Chris Brown should be up here?
Yeah, if we talking 90s and up, yeah. I'm trying to date it so that we can run away from those Sam Cookes and Luthers and Stevies, and you know what I mean, like, because if you have to include that other era, he's getting kicked out of there, and so is Usher.
Yes. Yes. What do you say?
Yeah, Chris Brown deserves his flowers. He deserves to be up there. And like Quest said, if you're talking about the 90s, 2000s,
Well, he came out in the 2000s, you know what I mean? But Chris Brown is...
Oh, yeah,
he came out in the 2000s. Run It, you know what I'm saying? Like, was his first single. But, the cool part about it was people were trying to compare him to Usher. They were saying he was the next Usher. But Chris Brown... Let's just go ahead and I'm going to give him his flowers because I know I've made jokes in the past. Everybody's made jokes about the past, but he's made mistakes. He's learned from them. He's grown from them. Everybody up here has had mistakes and they learned and they grow. But Chris Brown is essentially, a very, very talented. Not only can he sing, he can rap. As you can see, he put the Migos doing in his place with bars. You know what I'm saying? And he can dance. If you're talking just dancing, he is the closest one to MJ. Hands down. And he's an artist. Like, I went into the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, right? They had this mural. It was James Brown, Michael Jackson, and then Chris Brown. And they told me that Chris Brown actually painted that mural inside the Grammy Museum. And I think I still got a picture of it in my phone somewhere when I'm posted up on my Facebook. But when I tell you that the detail of the artistry of this dude, he's like beyond talented.
Yeah, it's almost unfair. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he light skinned, so like you don't need that much talent. You're already light skinned, bro. Like, chill out. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, but no, he's definitely a talented dude. You know what I mean? Sports, even athletically, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard he can ball too.
Oh, that ain't no hurt. That boy can hoop. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy, you know what I mean? But he's just an all-around talented dude, man. And if you ever see the Chris Brown show, you will never be disappointed, even if you're not a Chris Brown fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, going to one of his shows is got to be top notch.
Right. Erica Berry says, not a Chris Brown fan, but my man deserves his flowers. True.
Mm-hmm.
Adoration. See, I'm too young to understand why MJ is up there for R&B. Sorry. So,
adoration.
Wait. Adoration is a huge MJ fan. That's actually how we connected, was through the MJ community. So the next man up here, MJ, Michael Joe Jackson. Does he deserve to be up here on the Mount Rushmore of top male R&B?
Absolutely.
Yes, because Adoration, I'm gonna tell you like this. So you know you're a little young. We gotta go back and do your research. When MJ started, he was discovered by Bobby Vancouver what were they called? The Vancouver is Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. So Bobby Taylor was the one who brought him to Motown. Bobby Taylor was the one who wrote and produced the first Jackson 5 album. And not only Michael Jackson was singing vocally as a kid, like at 5 and 6 and 12. So Bobby Taylor kind of gave him vocal coaching and showing him how to use his voice. Michael Jackson is essentially what he started was in R&B. It wasn't until later where he started dabbling into different genres, like like the pops, the bubblegum pop, or even disco, or even with Thriller. But you got to remember, there's songs that he has like "Lady in My Life," R&B. What else? Human Nature. Well, that's kind of pop, but I Can't Stop Loving You, Liberian Girl, You Are Not Alone, Butterflies. He has. There's another song. All I Do Is Think of You with him and Jermaine. You know what I'm saying? Like this is they were enriched into R&B, rhythm and blues. That's what it is. Rhythm and blues is just another variation of blues and rock and roll. So you know what I'm saying? Like they used to actually call MJ the king of pop, rock, and soul because of his vocals. Like his vocals alone. If you ever need to hear him, go to YouTube and type in Michael Jackson vocal training. His vocal register from the lowest to the highest is insane. Insane.
Hey, I'm actually do that. But yeah, man. Right. And you gotta factor in all the music that he's created for other people. You know what I mean? That do R&B. Like all of these things are factors.
Right.
When it comes to MJ. Like he may be, like you said, probably the number one overall artist. You know what I mean? Whether you put him in pop, whether you put him in R&B, whether you put him in rock, you know what I'm saying? Because some could consider his earlier music kind of rock-ish.
Dirty Diana, that's a rock song.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? It's to be able to bend through different genres like that takes a lot of talent. You know what I mean?
Another guy that can dance, sing, a lot of stuff. So he doesn't get the credit that he deserved, but he co-produced the album Thriller. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the beats, especially Billie Jean, he came up with on his own. Once he got with Quincy being the master that he was, put his touches on, put the horn sections and amplified it by the 10th degree. So so MJ he can draw just as well as just as well as Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Jackson is insanely talented. He definitely got smut on his name from people who are trying to hate and trying to extort him. But saying his legacy won't be diminished because a lot of these everybody up here, from R. Kelly to Usher to Chris Brown and anybody that came after him, has been trying to reach those levels of an MJ. So there's this guy named Artemis Gordon, saying on IG, he calls him the deity, and I think that's rightfully so because he's in a different class by himself.
Yeah, not to mention all these people up here paying homage to MJ. So you know what I mean, it's kind of hard to debate it. You know what I'm saying? They all say he's the best. So there you have that.
All right, let's move on to Usher. Does he deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore of male R&B?
Yeah. Jess, you ain't look too confident. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what froze me. Cause I'm like, I thought Jess was gonna get up here and say, "Hell no," you know what I'm saying? But
no, they call him USHERRAYNONC. Yes, he should be.
Okay.
I just wanna take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his Vegas residency helped bring him back to the forefront. You know what I mean? And the Super Bowl. all those good things kind of like turn new fans onto him. But yeah, for us, generation that grew up in the '90s, man, he's definitely up there. Usher put a whole lot of tracks out that we was vibing to through middle school, high school, all that good stuff, and early adulthood. So he's definitely got to be up there. Look at Adoration.
All right, so I think we're in agreement. Now, this is going to cause some controversy. We might get some phone calls with this one. You know what I'm saying? And there might be a campaign to take the platform down.
Yeah,
you know
whatever. Man, come on with it.
Kelly. Now, Quez, going back to what you said, now, Bobby Brown, for me, Bob is dope. That's my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my head, me and Bobby are cool. I met him, a few times. You know what I mean? He sent me a whole swag bag. Bob is cool. That's my dude. Funk you.
We didn't say anything. You know what I mean?
This is dope too. Hey, whatever. I feel judged up here. Haters. But for me, my number one R&B guy though, if you talking about R&B, just strictly R&B, is this guy right here. It's R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? He confidently said that he put the R in R&B, and I kind of have to agree because he wrote for MJ. I think he wrote for Usher. He wrote for Celine Dion. He wrote for B2K. He wrote for Whitney. He wrote for Charlie Wilson. He wrote for Ronald Isley. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude got hits insane. He wrote for Maxwell. He wrote for KC and JoJo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn. A lot of those people could be up here too. Shit. They start listing people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, man, see, this is one of those situations where you have to remove the personal from the business side of this, man. Just like you have to do with Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan was the greatest of individuals outside of that basketball court. But if we talk about just strictly on the court, he's him. You know what I mean? And the same thing, if we talking strictly music, it's not too many people that could match Mr. Robert right there. You know what I mean? He's been way too pivotal to the music of our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? A lot of babies was made, a lot of relationship breakups, recovery was Mr. Kelly has lived through all these different versions of our life, man. So you know what I mean? I'm never gonna take him down. Chocolate Factory, TP2, it's just too much going on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's way too much. You know what I mean? So,
Jess, this is called Drop Your 3 Cents. It's not called Drop and Stay Silent.
Hey, I did not stay silent. I did make a noise, but to have his face up there, that's a tough one.
Man, what?
Because of what he did.
Yeah, you probably should have stayed quiet.
Okay, so wait. So if we had, let's say, one of these for producers, Diddy gonna be up there?
Probably.
No.
Somebody gonna put him in there.
Yeah, if you're talking about if they had a Mount Rushmore of like label execs, Adoration says, "Say it, Jess." Now, if they had a Mount Rushmore of like label execs, then Diddy would definitely have to go up there. But producer, because I actually know what a producer is, he kind of if you're comparing him to like a Dr. Dre, and this is taking out the personal shit. If you compare him to like a Dr. Dre, a Timbaland, DJ Premier, who else? DJ Quick, who's underrated, Teddy Riley, Missy Elliott, who else? Even J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're talking about producers, you know what I'm saying? Like people who, if we're talking about even like Quincy Jones, then no, he doesn't hold a candle to none of them. He did what he did. He took hits from the 80s, you know what I'm saying? And, drove the girls crazy. So no, but label execs, yes, he'd definitely be up there. Personal stuff aside, you know what I'm saying? What he did with Bad Boy was dope. But going back to it, and I'm gonna play advocate real quick. If the clear people had their Mount Rushmore and they said who's the king of rock and roll and all this, or their greats, they're gonna put Elvis up there. Are they gonna have the same type of standards like we do? You know, so well, yeah, well, he sure did get with Priscilla in 14, and you know, this isn't a legend, these are facts, but he's still the king, you know. No, they're just automatically gonna say, no, Elvis is dope. You know what I'm saying? Elvis is our king, he's the king of rock and roll, which that's not true. You know what I'm saying? But they're definitely gonna ride for Elvis. He still sells millions and millions of records, even dead.
Yeah, well, they ain't got many options, so you know what I'm saying. They kind of stick beside him. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. You know what I mean? Who else you gonna go with?
Right. So I mean, so outside of his personal stuff, I mean, and again, R. Kelly, you can't deny the fact. So does that negate whatever he's done? Does that negate the fact that he can't sing? You know what I'm saying? Like he's influenced by Sam Cooke, you know what I'm saying, by Michael Jackson. He's wrote for all these people, he's produced hits. And let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for the fact of R. Kelly running out of money to pay people, you probably still wouldn't have heard of any of this stuff.
Yeah, probably. And the man just made a fire remix from prison. You know what I'm saying? That was popping.
Adoration says, sorry, but R. Kelly a different kind of pedo. And Quez is right. They don't got options anyway.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, R. Kelly definitely has to be up there, man. Music wise, I do not agree.
I didn't say Good Samaritan. You know, does he get Citizen of the Year? Like, no.
I do not agree with his personal choices in women and young ladies, but you know, when it comes to the music, if I needed somebody to write a hit, I would have the utmost confidence in contacting that man to write a hit.
Everybody did. So Adoration. Let me play advocate. Let me give you some food for thought. The very first accusation, the very first thing that became public and known was 1994 when he allegedly, it's not even a legend no more, when he married Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of backstory behind that too. You know what I'm saying? So we're not just gonna just what he did was egregious, no doubt, but you know, there was some stuff that was going on. She lied about her age, you know what I'm saying? Mom's put her out there, you know, like a lot of stuff. But 1994, so he didn't get arrested until 2015, 16. So in the meantime, from 1994 all the way up until then, there's been countless of people. Pretty sure you know Lady Gaga, she worked with him. A lot of the modern artists that you may know have worked with him, did some type of remix with him. And I mean, so it was all good until a documentary. So that's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just facts.
Just gotta be truthful, man. He dropped hella bars in the R&B game, man. So you gotta, you know what I mean? I believe I could fly from Space Jam. I mean, come on, man. We gonna take that down? No, you can't watch Space Jam no more.
Yeah, and you know the cool part about it is too, Quez, all the people, cancel. Every black function, every concert, every little thing that I go to, when there's a DJ there, they play R. Kelly, and guess what? They get up, they step in the name of love. There's people stepping probably right now somewhere to R. Kelly.
Yeah, so, in the shy, most definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
There's some old heads out there with a cup of cognac, you know what I'm saying? And they Stacey Adams and you know what I'm saying, some slacks, getting their step on. You know what I mean?
and no adoration, I will not stand with her. R. Kelly he puts the R in R&B. So I'm sorry. And to be real with you, he's not going to be the last of your generation to have singers with a scandal. I can promise you that. So
boy, that part.
I can promise you. A lot of these celebrities are doing and living double lives and doing secret stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just hasn't been brought out to the forefront. And I'll say it like this, you know what I'm saying? The more money that you're making somebody, the more they're going to keep it under wraps because they got fixers to fix stuff for it like that. So, you know, it's just, you know, but we'll say that for another. But yeah, but so this has definitely caused a great debate. I want to see the Mount Rushmore West Coast music. You know,
yeah,
I got to see that one. I think they did one for like top New York MCs. They got Biggie, they got Nas, they got Jay-Z, and they got Jadakiss. And you know, as much as I love Jadakiss, and that's a hard Mount Rushmore, that's dope. You know, they're sleeping on people like LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, who is stayed relevant since the 1980s. So I think he should go up there in place of like, you know, Jada. But Jada's still hard though.
Yeah, that's why I think no matter which one, what version you do, you have to date it. It's too broad of a spectrum to just have 4 people. You have to break it down into different eras. You know what I'm saying? To have a real conversation with just 4 individuals, else we're gonna be debating all night.
True.
It's too many people. You know. Even for R&B, even rap is crazy. I do want to see a West Coast one though.
Oh yeah,
I'm curious what that's gonna look like.
It has to. I'm gonna search for it too, because they had like they had one for like hooks. You know what I'm saying? And Nate Dogg was on there. He definitely belongs up there. You know what I'm saying? Like
gotta be. Who else has the most iconic hooks? Nobody. Nobody.
So.
Yeah, definitely got to rock with that. All right, man. Yeah, I guess we'll leave that alone for they come get us. We're standing up for R. Kelly and adoration, standing up with Jess, which you know ain't gonna amount to much. They're both under 5 feet, so you guys go ahead and stand on that.
Right. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna go into some quick promos. And we will be right back with our topics.
Hello, family. I'm Marquez.
Hey, you guys, and I'm Denisha.
We all want the best for our children, right? Security, opportunities, and a future filled with endless possibilities.
That's right, but here's the question. What are you doing today to create that future? Imagine building a business that creates generational wealth, leaving a legacy that grows even when you're not working. Showing your children what it means to dream big and take action.
That's right. With Planet Marketing, we offer you the opportunity to earn income while still being present with and for your family. We show you how to invest in their future while securing your own and teach them by example what financial freedom should look like.
And don't just tell your kids to dream big. Show them how it's done.
That's right. Comment below or
you could just message us for a direct link to our presentation.
Accomplish eliminating frizz and have that shiny look to your waves, you need a laydown pad. The Wave Essentials is having a sale right now for buy 2 get 1 free. With the little strap on the back, it makes it super easy to lay your hair down, and the plastic on the front helps with laying the hair down and creating that shine. Do this for about 10 to 15 minutes and you'll accomplish that shine and that lay down that you need. Nobody likes frizz, so make sure you go get your lay down pads before the sale is over.
Yeah. You're wasting time, wasting lines.
All right, and we are back. So, the name of that joint is Wave Essentials. So, I'm sending that to you. I made sure that the banner was covering up the actual .com. So,
okay, right, we gotta fix that.
Yeah, I need some. I need to hook up my waves too. I need to get wavy up in here. All right, y'all. So we got a few topics. You know, we got the Karmelo Anthony Metcalf, Austin Metcalf incident. There's been an update. We got Black Maternal Health Week, and then we also have Matt Barnes opens up, and we're speaking about male emotions. So, which one should we take a dive into first?
Wait, Let's go, Carmelo Anthony. Then we can hit Black Maternal Health Week, and then wrap it up with Matt Barnes. That way, if Melvin is busy, he'll still have time to jump in here. I think that's a good way to line it up. Just saying, man. Just I try to process it out, and plus, I think we're gonna be with Carmelo Anthony for a moment.
Well, we're gonna touch on it briefly. It'll be brief because this. I mean, truthfully, it really deserves its own show. It really deserves its own show. You know what I mean? Like, really, no other topics. We'd have to start from the beginning and really end with it because it's a lot to unpack. But for those that are just for those who are just tuning in, so we're talking about Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. There's been some new details that have been emerged as of right now. Carmelo Anthony has been released from his bond. It got dropped from $1 million to $250,000, and he made bond. And on his way out, I mean, they were trying to press him for it and whatnot. Man, where do I have it at? Did I upload? Yeah, I did. So there's also been, I didn't upload his mom's. So I'm gonna get that going. But there's a witness that actually was there, and we're gonna get his side of the story of what we've seen, and then I'm gonna try to upload the his mom's press conference.
A short time ago, the Supreme Court.
Breaking news. A witness in the Karmelo Anthony murder case came forward to make a statement, and we missed a lot about the whole incident. At the time of the incident, there should have been many students around. Let's listen to what he said.
It was raining. It got rained out like crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet. Dude was sitting up under the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up. McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and what they went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, the dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bro. It wasn't a school track meet.
I think we needed that narrative because it's been so much that's been brought out. People have been saying certain things. He was this. Why did he bring a knife to school? It's this. We just seen some where people were saying white lives matter and all this other stuff. And it's just crazy. I think we definitely needed that perspective from a witness. So what are your two thoughts?
Go ahead, Jess. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a tangent. So
I'm glad that father stepped up and gave his perspective on what he's seen, because everyone's over here thinking that this boy needs to go to jail, and it's like it's insane, I don't see a student who's on an honor roll. 4.0 was his GPA. I don't understand how that is even possible for a child like that to just what? Oh, I just want to kill this dude? No. Oh, I want to cause trouble? No. I got honor roll students. They are not thinking about that. My son is not thinking about that at the meets that he goes to. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm glad that conversation is out there as well. Because if we being honest, I've been highly disappointed in mainstream media in regards to this case. They've been pushing a lot of false narratives in regards to this case, and the reason why it frustrates me is because they have the resources to make sure this stuff is true or not. We're not talking about Facebook, you know what I'm saying, journalists. We're not talking about Instagram investigators. We're talking about mainstream media who are going with some of these narratives prematurely without having all the facts and just posting them, you know what I'm saying, and putting them out there, which is very detrimental to somebody who may be fighting for their life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that independent media is boots on the ground and getting these stories out and getting these conversations that need to be had, because if we left it up to the MSNBCs and the Foxes, you know what I mean, they'd be, another troubled black teen stabs other teen to death. Like, the headlines that I've been seeing from them is crazy. You know what I mean? Even in the way that they reference him, you know what I'm saying? Murderer who, like, come on, bro. These are still children. You know what I mean? I have a little respect. So I'm glad it's out. I've heard that a while ago, but
let me play advocate real quick and let me ask you: did you feel the same way about Kyle Rittenhouse?
They didn't do Kyle Rittenhouse the same way. If we being honest, if you want to go look at the Kyle Rittenhouse, if you want to look at the Daniel Pennies, if you want to look at even back to the Trayvon Martin, how they demonized him and he was the victim, right? When we look at these things, there seems to be a presumption of debauchery based on the color of your skin and an association with innocence to the other side. So we have to live by the theory everybody's innocent until proven guilty. That if you Caucasian, if you black, we should automatically demonize you, even if you're the one that died. We look at Daniel Penny. He choked this man to death on a train. All they talked about was how fucked up his life was, and why pretty much essentially he deserved to die, because that's how I viewed it from their standpoint. If I was on the outside looking in, you know, the way they framed that story. But he didn't do anything to anybody. He got killed for essentially some words,
right?
For talking loud on the train. So yeah. We gonna look at it. Yeah, they made your boy a hero. Kyle Rittenhouse, they made him a hero.
Right.
I mean, he killed two people.
And they weren't black too.
Right.
So we have I have the clip of Karmelo Anthony's mom's press conference, and it's highly emotional, and we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to dive into Black Maternal Health Week, because we're going to definitely have to put a toothpick in this and come back and really, really talk about it. Sorry, I had to get
all right, you good. Let's get it.
Like more. But here we go.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. In wake of this tragedy, his mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the reality of it, and this is a mother, their whole world's been turned upside down. And from the gist of it, my own personal opinion, I don't think Carmelo Anthony meant to take that dude's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think if what we're hearing in the police report is true, he asked if he was okay. I think he was just trying to send him a message or, hey, quit messing with me, whatever. And I think he was remorseful. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. It's crazy because both families' lives are effed up. As a matter of fact, that same press conference, the father actually had the audacity and the balls to show up. I wanted to know what he was there for. So I kind of wanted to see how that was going to turn out. Was he offering his sympathy? Like, what was he there for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But he got escorted off the premises by police. So I don't know, man. This right here is kind of crazy.
Seem like intimidation to me. You know what I mean? You want to show up and intimidate. Ain't nobody from that family showed up to none of y'all press conferences with your baby mother or yourself. Because the children came from a single parent household, with an absent father. Since we like to push narratives. You know what I'm saying? Carmelo's 2-parent household home and functioning family who lived in a gated community before any of this happened. Was kind of well to do. You showing up to intimidate them kind of also provided evidence to me that children learn habits from their parents.
Right. That's the bully right there.
I mean, that however y'all want to take that. That's children learn habits from their parents, whether spoken or unspoken. You know what I mean? There was absolutely no reason for you to show up to that press conference, sir, ever, as a grieving parent. You know what I mean? And then for Carmelo family, I hope they get some real security. You know what I mean? Because what's coming up tomorrow sounds like a old school lynching party. You know what I mean? That's how those things started.
Right.
Well, let's get together. They let that Negro free. Oh, hell, we going to go down there, Jim Bob, and we going to get justice. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I certainly hope they got some real security. Protect yourself at all times and tell the story, man. Get my 12 in the box. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait for all the details, all the facts to come out, and we can definitely unpack it some more. So
yeah,
man. Tragic all around, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be the bigger person. Whether, again, hurt people, you know what I'm saying? So this dude, if they're bullying, whatever, did he deserve to go out like that? Nah. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of what someone else has said on this show last week, when you look at the severity of it, who knows what somebody is going through? True. You know what I'm saying? But if it was a simple fact of somebody calling somebody a name, you know what I'm saying? It's no need to sit up there and to talk guns or blow their brains out, whatever it was, or anything to take a life over words. Because, regardless, you know what I'm saying, when that person passes or is unalive, they're still going out thinking what they thought about you. If they thought that you were a piece of ish, they died thinking that you were a piece of ish. If you know what I'm saying, especially if the facts present itself, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just real, you know what I'm saying? So you take somebody's life over words. And again, you know what I mean? It's just stupid. And if that's what we're thinking about, the mentality that we're going in to, like, as far as like even in our adulthoods, it's ludicrous. It's idiocy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's immaturity. It's time to actually grow up. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know, if he pulled out a knife, which we don't know what it was, we still don't know what it is. But if what the witness is saying they put hands on this dude, then yes, he may have had a fear for his life. You know what I'm saying? We never know. You know what I'm saying? It was an act of passion. And especially if he said that, hey, he's trying to check him and see if he's all right. You know what I'm saying? He probably just didn't mean to take his life. He just wanted them off of him. And at the end of the day, like I said, man, hurt people. So yeah, whatever it is that he was going through. But again, we starting to see more about the Austin Metcalf stuff. You know, Daddy was on the ex offenders list. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we don't know what they're going through, what type of hurt. And again, we're talking about mental health. I think mental health is something that's universal. It's colorblind. It needs to go all around. So the same stuff that we've talked about, I think maybe this family needs to experience. Maybe they need to seek a therapist or whatever, because it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard lesson learned, but it's a lesson learned nonetheless. And, you know, like I said, man, my prayers are going out to their family, because at the end of the day, whether he was a bully, whether he was whatever, there's somebody that loved him. You know what I'm saying? But he's not here no more off of his own, God rest his soul, his own stupidity. You know what I'm saying? Had he just would have kept his hands to himself, wouldn't have been in this predicament. Had someone would actually loved up on him, maybe he wouldn't have been a bully. You never know. You know, so the only thing we can do is just give prayers to everybody in the situation, man. Everybody keep a cool head. Just wait for the outcome of the trial. You know what I'm saying? Karmelo Anthony is afforded that. He's afforded a fair trial. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him that.
Fair and unbiased trial. That's what that young man needs. You know what I mean? So, you know, good stuff though. That was a great perspective of looking at that, and people die still thinking the same shit about you is hilarious to me. But it's true. You know what I mean? That's why
it's going to go out with the thought, man. He was a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
You're an extra piece of shit.
Right. Like I said, it's even more salty if the facts present themselves. Like if you really did some idiot-ish, and it's really like facts that you're really like that much of an idiot person, I mean, still doesn't change the narrative. And there may be some other people who think just like that. So what you going to try? Take them all out just because they said something about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not true of whatever they're saying about you, then why is it getting underneath your skin? If it strikes a nerve, then that has to talk to your own insecurity, your own self-consciousness. And can't nobody help that out but you. So,
absolutely.
All right, y'all. So, you know, Jess put this on her story, and it was something that was definitely, we didn't really get a chance to really take a deep dive into Women's History Month, you know what I'm saying? But we did spotlight, you know, an author. We spotlighted some amazing women, especially during Black History Month. But this right here is something that I think is not talked about enough. And it's Black Maternal Health Week. And it just wrapped up yesterday. But here goes. Shout out to this guy. I don't know who he is, but he brought out the facts. And of course, you know, I'm quick to steal something from TikTok if I'm too lazy to clip up the video myself. So shout out to them TikTok. Trump, don't get rid of TikTok, man. They cut off half my workload. But here he goes right here.
In the United States, Black women are 3 times as likely to die from pregnancy-related complications when compared to white women. And the CDC notes that more than 80% of pregnancy-related deaths are preventable. That's why it's so important that this past week, from April 11th to 17th, was Black Maternal Health Week. Founded in 2018 by the Black Mamas Matter Alliance, this week is to raise awareness, activism, and community building around maternal health. Many of the states that have the worst maternal health and child health outcomes have the worst family support systems, especially for Black women. It's impossible to ignore how institutional racism and systemic inequalities contribute to these problems. Studies show that Black women are often dismissed or ignored in the hospital, even when they do ask for help. This week, I encourage you to check out the Black Mamas Matter Alliance and the incredible birth and reproductive justice organizations working for reproductive and maternal health.
Yo, we're back. So, Jess, is there anything that you want to share as far as insight into this topic?
My labors weren't that bad as far as like being in the hospital, but I do remember with my first and my last telling them that I was like in pain. I wanted to get the epidural, and I had to wait a while for the epidural, you know. I heard the epidural is not good, but I was in pain and I couldn't take it no more, so I asked for it. I know they make you wait until you're like a certain centimeters, you know, but I kept asking. They kept telling me I wasn't there yet. Was I? I don't know. Like I'm not looking and seeing, you know, so I just took their word for it. But as far as like the like during your pregnancy and everything, I think it was okay, maybe because I had and I think he was Indian. My what is it, OBGYN, he was Indian. So it could have been because of that. I don't know. I think other women experience different things. I know when I go to the doctor for just like regular reproductive stuff or whatever, I do get ignored. I've been ignored for decades now, you know, and it's very hard to get a diagnosis for things. And it's like, if I'm over here missing work, missing functions that I would like to go to because I'm in pain, you know, without being pregnant, I'm in pain, you know, it's like, what's going on? How come no one's helping, you know? So it's not just as far as the pregnancy part, it's also when you're not pregnant too. Like, I've been having these issues for decades and I have not gotten a diagnosis or anything. They're just saying, oh, it's normal. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was hoping Denisha would have been back by now because we were talking about this earlier this week.
We can definitely have like a part two. Like I said, you know, we're long overdue for an after party. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so we'll probably have to set that up. But with me, you know, when I was listening and doing my research on this topic, hold on, we got Erica. She said my first pregnancy was terrible. I ended up having girl, you know I can't pronounce preeclampsia. And the doctor told me that if I didn't get a C-section, that he would come back and collect my dead body as well as my baby.
Wow.
The way Black women are treated in healthcare is absolutely tragic.
And I know Serena Williams has a story too with her first child. So it's not just us regular folks, it's the celebrities too, you know.
My experience, you know, me personally, of course, you know, I'm not doing any childbirth or anything, but I want to definitely one day probably reach out to her and get her on here. But my ex-wife, when we were together, you know, we weren't actually married just yet, but you know, she wound up pregnant, and she had to go to the hospital due to some complications in her pregnancy. One of the scariest things that I had to experience was them not really understanding what's going on with her, the amount of blood that she lost. Also, too, you know, it came down to a point to where they were saying like, you know, we're gonna have to make a decision. You know, it's gonna either be between her. Do we save her or do we save the baby? And that was one of the most scariest things in my life. And truthfully, at that time, we weren't necessarily married just yet. We were engaged, but because of the rights that, you know, are afforded to married people, I wasn't able to receive those because we weren't technically married, even though we were living together, even though she's pregnant with my baby. So faced with that reality, I felt like we weren't necessarily getting the type of care that we needed. Um, we were literally praying and just hoping to God, and watching her make the ultimate sacrifice. She told them, like, look, if it's between me or my son, you save my son. You know, it was one of the hardest things I had to go through in my life, the darkest 2 weeks of my life. Years later, this last year or so, we finally, especially going through grief, she told me that she wound up having another baby. So shout out to her. But this pregnancy was different because they said that she was a high risk. But this baby, what went on with our baby was that she had a weak cervix. And so during this time, her OGBYN, however you say it, wasn't really necessarily giving her that care, giving her option. The doctor that she went to, her new doctor, was told her that, all we have to do is either sew up her cervix or get something to make sure she carried her baby the full term. We lost ours at 22 weeks? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I feel like they didn't do as much as they could have to save our son. They weren't really didn't really seem like they cared about her per se, even as a black woman laying there. To them, it was just another black woman and another black baby. Oh well, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, and so we always think about those woulda, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but the fact that I had to go through it, the fact that there's so many women that actually had to go through it, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to think, and I don't know why it's such a stigma with our black women, but we definitely need to bring this up on a higher platform, make more noise about it, and try to do something about it to make sure we get equal care for these black mothers out here, because these are our queens. They're carrying our princes and princesses, and I definitely think that, we need to do more.
Yes, I like how she brought that up because it made me think of something. After I had my third child, they asked me if I wanted to get my tubes tied, and I'm like, no, why? So I'm like, is it because of my race? Why are you asking me that? I didn't tell you I wanted my tubes tied, so what's going on?
Lucetta says they forced me to get on birth control after I had my son. They wouldn't let me leave the hospital if I wasn't on it. Wow.
Crazy.
My prayers to you. Erica says they think we just have high pain tolerance and don't take our concerns seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that's actually been proven too, that the biasness in the medical industry is that black people pain tolerance is so much higher, and based on the people that are coming up and learning these things, even in 2025. Well, I think when they did this research, it was a few years ago, but even for then, you know what I'm saying, to be in the modern era and still have people think that black people have a higher threshold for pain is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially women. And a lot of the study also stated like they prejudged thinking that black women just want drugs. They just want some pain drugs and to get addictions and just stupid shit. And not to mention the in North and South Carolina back in the day, like they were forced sterilizing black women without them knowing. It was like a whole community of women that were sterilized. You know what I'm saying? But without their knowledge. So I can believe Lucetta when she say they forced her to be on some type of birth control. It ain't none of them folks' business. You did. If you want to have 10, 15 kids, if you can take care of them, that's your business.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The hospital don't get to decide that, but yeah. I agree with Erica, but yeah, I just don't want to say too much because this is a very touchy subject, and I wish we had more women on here to conversate.
Me too.
About this part, but
like I said, no, we can definitely put a toothpick in it. We can circle back. Definitely, You know, saying Lisetta, I want to hear your story. Eric, I want to hear your story. You know, so if ever you guys want to come on and talk, you know, saying the link is right there in the comments. So we'll make sure that we can have a real open dialogue about it, because I want to know what could we do as Black men, you know, saying to help you guys with this, or what is there to do, you know, saying. And well, that's what we're going to talk about. So lots doesn't necessarily specifically say stuff, but you know, I mean, I definitely want to know, because again, as a father that experienced that, you know, saying, how could we do more to protect our women?
Oh yeah, you definitely got to advocate when you're in them hospitals, man. As the other partner, as the other partner, whether it's through pain or whether it's through, you know what I'm saying, the birthing process, you got to be on your toes.
And don't ever leave us in the room by ourselves.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes, man, because they be quick with it. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I was able to stay. Definitely was able to stay. There were just certain things I couldn't make decisions on because, you know, we weren't technically legally married.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there was so much I wanted to do. And that's one of the helpless things, one of the things that really affects you as a father, is that, you know, hey, you can't protect your girl, your wife, or your child, and the inevitable is coming. He pretty much just told us, hey, just prepare for the inevitable. You know, so he was born at 22 weeks with no lungs. You know what I'm saying? So he's moving, he has a heartbeat, he's moving, he's alive. He just couldn't breathe. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like there was more that they could have done. They could have held him, because I've seen a lot of premature babies at that age survive. You know, so that I don't think this was Redlands community. I don't think they necessarily cared. You know what I'm saying? It's Redlands. So okay, well, shout out to them, I guess.
Yeah. As a partner, man, you definitely, like I said, you definitely gotta be in that room advocating. Don't leave her or that baby, because when that baby come out, they be moving hella fast. They be trying to hit with shots, and we gotta take over here and do this, and we gotta you gotta slow all that down.
Right.
Slow all that down. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. When you're in these hospitals, man, which even just with your people in general, you know what I'm saying? Even outside of birth and that type of scenario in the hospital, period, you need to always have somebody there to advocate for you, because they be quick with the nonsense. You know what I mean? Trying to hurry up, move people, shift them, move them around, get them out of here. You know what I mean? Even if that's at the cost of your life. You know what I mean? We got to free up these beds. So,
advocate. And also for women who are pregnant right now, there are doulas now, and there are programs, if your insurance doesn't cover it, pay for the doula.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I have a friend who's a doula.
So we will put a toothpick in this. We will circle back, and we'll definitely check it out, and we'll definitely have the resources available. So, like I said, I want to hear from more women. This will be something that we put out. We reach out to certain women we can talk about, because we need to know as men, and I want you guys, ladies, to speak to us men how we can help you. You know, so
absolutely.
We'll definitely, it's something that we'll extend this. Forget week. We'll talk about it some other times too. We got one more comment before. It says that you're right. They don't care about us. Man, it's sad to say.
It's pretty evident.
So another thing is this is actually MC Toes Melvin. This is one of his topics that he put out. I wish he's here so he can talk more about it, you know what I'm saying, and drive it and narrate it. But you know, it's a good clip. It's something I don't think that we talk about enough, you know what I'm saying, if we're talking about mental health, just a period. You know what I'm saying? Matt Barnes, you know, recently made headlines, you know, with the breakup of him and his, I think, fiance or baby moms. You know, due to, we don't know what's been going on, you know what I'm saying? But he owned up to his stuff and he came out. So here goes a clip, but it's a powerful clip. And we're going to talk about, you know, crying, showing emotions, and healing. What we need to do to heal.
I literally just lost my family through being what you talked about, like I was the strong provider. I wasn't there emotionally. I wasn't empathetic. I wasn't willing to share those emotions. And that was stuff that my ex would tell me, like, you're a wall. And then again, trying to dig back and understand and starting counseling that, like you said, little Matt from back then is still hurt and still trying to find his way. Although grown Matt seems like he has it all, little Matt is there more than I realized. So my question is, like, to all those men that can't or feel like they can or just won't, tears won't come out. I know it's such a refreshing and helpful and good thing to do as a man, but how do you cry if you don't? I don't want to say I don't know how to cry, because I've cried before, but I haven't cried in probably 30 years. Through my actions, I literally just lost my years.
You're guarded.
Too much.
You have to change your perspective of what crying is. You still, deep inside of you, you still believe it's a sign of weakness. It's really is a sign of you being human. And until we get to the place where we can release it, that's when you always feel this rage, this anger, never feeling settled. You gotta smoke some weed. You gotta get something to drink. You need to call that girl. And you don't even hear it taught enough about contentment. Like, when is enough? You know, why do I have to keep grinding and keep going? That's not peace, you know. And then speaking of peace, which it seems like the majority of us, that's all we want. Peace is not the absence of chaos, trials, tests, adversity. It's having a calm heart in the midst of those things.
30 years.
Right. Great clip.
D says this is one of the things that Kamala was investigating and following up to change the medical attention for Black women starting in Atlanta. She right. She right. D, we saw you trying to get on. I don't know what's going on, if it was your connection or whatever, but you know, but yeah, D's right. Back up real quick about the black maternal health. This is one of the things that she was investigating. Yeah, she was definitely standing on that. I got to give her that. She's right. So we'll definitely, like I said, we'll put a toothpick in that. We'll circle back and we'll come back to it, because that's very, very true. But back to Matt Barnes' clip. What did you guys think of it?
Man, to be honest, I think that's sad. You know, to not have cried in 30 years and to be able to say that openly is crazy to me. All right, like, you ain't ran across nothing in 30 years that made you show any kind of emotion. It is, you know, kind of scary, and I could see how that could ruin a relationship. You know, because if you can't cry, like he said, you're not going to be emotionally available for anybody else in the same capacity, because I would like to think that your empathy receptor is off. You know what I mean? Shoot, I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't watch some stuff with Denisha. I didn't shed a tear. Like, oh dang, that was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's because you have some semblance of empathy, and I mean, for a lot of men, I wouldn't say we have it to that degree where, you know, we ain't gonna cry for 30 years, but we are very guarded and reserved, and you know what I'm saying? Crying is, even though I don't do it very, very often or outwardly, it's still looked at as somewhat some kind of weakness. I do it in protected spaces, so I guess I can fall into that category too, because I ain't gonna be on here crying with y'all.
Me
But
too.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, truthfully, I'm guilty. I'm hugely guilty of it. That was part of the problem with my relationship why it didn't work, you know, before, was because I didn't show emotion. I was being told I wasn't showing emotion enough. I was emotionless because I would cry, but I would cry more so in the shower. You know, so I never let somebody, a woman, you know, see me cry, because I was kind of conditioned that way to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? And again, and I don't want this to be like a knock on single mothers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But single moms definitely do the best that they can to raise us. You know what I'm saying? They raise us into the ideal of what we need to be as men. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's something that they've seen a brother, uncle, a father of theirs, whatever, yes, they try to definitely season and give us those ingredients. But sometimes it's not necessarily your teaching, because I was taught wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I was taught like, hey, don't cry in front of this woman because you don't want to mess up her mental. Or, you know what I'm saying, or other folks would tell me, hey, don't cry because it's a shut. But then my own personal stuff, you know what I'm saying, it's hard for me to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what he's talking about. I've heard that about men from back in the past, like, you know, old school men, like their whole thing was to just be there to essentially provide. You know what I'm saying? They weren't there to give no emotional support to their wives, you know, their children. You know, they just knew the okay, I gotta go to work, I gotta go bring home the finances to take care and put food on the table, put clothes on the back, whatever. And then they kept their head down and they kept going. You know, I seen my grandfather do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see him cry, but I seen him drink. You know what I'm saying? Seen him drink his sorrows away. You know, so um I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's just I think now it's starting to become fashionable or more so acceptable. You know, when we're talking about mental health on the capacity of men being vulnerable with their women, but I think it definitely takes the right woman for a man to open up and be vulnerable too. But I do think that, you know, people like Matt Barnes, I think there's probably some deep hurt, some trauma from his past that he needs to unpack and seek a therapist, you know what I'm saying? A mental health therapist, seek therapy, get help. So therefore you can be emotionally available for your woman when she needs you.
Very, very necessary. Just what advice you got for us grown men who don't cry? You know what I'm saying? That's real gangsters out here. No, I'm just like, go ahead.
I'm no gangster, I'm a nerd, sir.
Man, all facts. You see the glasses.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think I agree with Third that there with Matt Barnes, there's like some deep rooted issues for him because how are you going to be emotionally available for your kids? Like you got to be able to be emotionally available for your kids so they can be well-rounded adults. You know, as far as me and my boys, even my oldest has cried recently. You know, and I don't say, no, don't cry, you're a man. I gave him a hug and comforted him, you know? I don't tell my boys not to cry unless they're like my youngest, unless he's tripping and ain't hurt.
Yeah, throwing a tantrum is different than, you know.
Yeah.
Then I tell them, be quiet, stop crying.
Right.
It's acceptable because I'll say the same thing, you know, like
But yeah, as far as like the way I'm raising my boys, it's like I give them a hug, you know, like if they're hurt, I comfort them, or even talk, you know, with my oldest, I'll talk with him and, you know, even about his emotions now. I'm talking to him about it. Oh, okay, how does that make you feel? You know, that could have been missing during our generation. I don't know because I'm not.
Oh, that shit was definitely missing.
It's
you know.
So for the world out there, like, my third word honestly earlier was transparency. You know, I Edward third degree. You know, what I'm saying still need help with the emotional availability. But you know, I talked to a pastor. I've talked to pastors. I've even sought professional help too because it's stuff that you know you're trained and conditioned to just go. You're trained to condition to endure. You know what I'm saying? Like you're taught, you know, it's taught to be strong. Even with her, it takes me sometimes to kind of relay some of my emotions, you know, because the thing that I like to do is I like to close up. You know what I'm saying? Like I shut down. Um, I gotta mentally check out. I gotta watch some mindless TV. I gotta either take a drive, gotta eat some cheesecake. I gotta do something to kind of get my mind right sometimes. And you know, I don't necessarily some cheesecake, man. Cheesecake a day make the stress go away, baby. You know what I'm saying? But you know, there's certain, you know, another outlet for me, truthfully, you know, saying was music. You know, I just came across a song the other day that I'm gonna release, re-release, that was called "Broken Home." You know what I'm saying? And I talked about certain things that I've gone through my childhood. I made a song talking about, you know, my son, dedicated to my son. I made a song even called "Better Men," and truthfully, you know, my advice to men out there is to find a nice positive outlet, whether it be basketball, whether it be arts, whether it be poetry, whether it be music, whether it be cooking, whether it be, even just talking with your woman. If you have a woman that seriously has your back and is going to rub your back and say, baby, it's going to be okay, pour out into her, what I'm saying? Because she's there to be that support, what I'm saying? Like, lean into your woman. Church is a nice place, what I'm saying, to release, especially something positive. Because if you're holding it in and you're bottling up, you're going to release it in so many different negative ways. Like, if your spouse leaves her slippers out, so and you see it, and it's one day you just trip. Oh man, why are the slippers out? Da, 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 da. That's not you necessarily tripping about the slippers. That's you, whatever it is that you're dealing with internally, you're keeping it bottled up, that you're releasing and you're dishing on to somebody who's close to you. And that's how you push them away, what I'm saying, as opposed to bringing them closer. What I'm saying? So, sometimes you just got to take a step back, breathe, pray, what I'm saying, and release in a more positive way. Um, my personal experience. And I'm just like, so just being transparent. Like, I don't got all the answers. What I'm saying? The stuff that's been helping me is I'm on track to hopefully being a better man. Um, Erica says, question for y'all. Do you think women contribute to making men feel like they can't express themselves? Certain women, not all. Definitely not all, but some.
I would like to give some advice to women. I would say, be patient with them. Don't, like, I guess, badger them and try to get them to get it out. Let them, you know, come to you and get it out. Maybe you could bring it up, I don't know, like a week later. I don't know. Just know your man, know how he is, pay attention, and just be patient. But for men, women will only be patient for so long. If it goes on for years and years and years, you're pushing her away.
Facts. Facts. I'm gonna have to follow that up with some women. My biggest advice from a man's perspective is, regardless of what that man tells you in his moment of vulnerability, don't ever bring that shit up in a negative tone. You know what I'm saying? That's the quickest way for men to check out on you, is for them to be vulnerable with you about something, even though it may seem minor to you. But if you ever bring it up in terms of an argument, or try to throw it in their face to be funny type shit, that's the quickest way to destroy that. Now I don't think a lot of women contribute to men that not being able to express themselves, but I think when it does happen, it's very monumental to men. You know what I'm saying? We look to women to nurture us. So for the women who do contribute to that, it's very devastating activity. I will say that. But great question. Yeah,
that was a great question, Erica. Very, really, really, really great.
I think third.
I even as much. This is it's a heavy topic, but my advice to men, going back to men, definitely, if you got a woman who gives you that support, emotionally, pour into her, lift her up, be there for her. Don't just not just her being there for you. You be there for her too, because women go through a lot. Saying sometimes, whether you like it or not, you got to hear it. Whether you're tired, you got to hear it. Just gotta let them talk. Saying, let them express to you, and sometimes you gotta be quick not to react. Saying, like Jess says, it's patience. Definitely patience. But like I said, the only thing I can just stress is just, you don't have to go through it alone. Especially if you got a good woman who's a support system, lean into her. Find yourself a good pastor. Surround yourself, again. Keep your circle cool. You got like an accountability, brother. Saying, I got brothers who hold me accountable. When I f up, they were like, "Yo, third, you could have did this different." Saying, and they don't just tell me the ish that I want to hear. They tell me what I need to hear. And I think that we definitely need to keep that close to it. So the people that you got around you, your circle, you know what I'm saying, keep and hold them close, hold each other accountable, love important to each other, you know what I'm saying? Steel sharpens steel, you know, so definitely, you know what I'm saying, read books, you know what I'm saying, pray, meditate, but release in a positive way, you know what I'm saying, contribute something positive to society and not negative, you know what I'm saying, no toxic masculinity, no over aggression. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I agree with you, man. All men need a circle of individuals where they can release comfortably. You know what I mean? And like you said, with men that are able to hold them accountable, right? To tell them the truth about their situations. Like, nah, you fucked that one up, boss. You know what I'm saying? You screwed the pooch on that one, man. You might want to go fix that. Like, not those, yes, man, well, you know, we all pimps out here, you know what I'm saying? But it's all said and done. Yeah. Like, hey, man, nah, get away from them. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be lonely at 45, boy, then still at the club.
I got two homies, I'll put them on blast. I got a Quez and I got Certified that tell me to take my black ass home.
Every time.
Go love your queen. Go love your queen. Take your black ass home.
Every time, man. But that's because I got brothers that do that to me. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? They wouldn't let me slide with it. Like, hey, bro, what you out here doing, man? The queen ain't finna kill both of us. You might want to take your ass home. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how they would address it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just passed that on down from the tutelage I sit under. You know what I mean? When all else fails, take your black ass home. You know
I tell the younger dudes I encounter, man, just take yourself home. Oh man, hey,
pastor, home.
Get some therapy. Take your butt home. Love your woman. Go rub her feet. Talk to your woman. You know what I'm saying? Go rub her feet. Go rub her back. Go rub her belly. Make her something good to eat. Watch what you do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, I tell the younger cats because if I could have a talk with younger self, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff I would have done different. So the younger self that I see is the younger cats that I come across. I don't even like to think of myself as an old head, but you know, I didn't been on this earth for some years.
Yeah, man, it's all right, Uncle Third. You know what I'm saying? We got you, Unc.
He older than me.
That's how I know. Hey, somebody hit me with it. January. Somebody hit me with the shit. Somebody, all right, Unc. I said, hey, hold the fuck up now. Right. hey, no,
wait.
We're not doing none of that. I ain't that old yet.
Nah. Right, not yet.
Nah,
all right, y'all.
That's a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a blessing, man.
So I'm gonna rock with it with my old ass. And so are you, Uncle Third.
Some little guy just adding there. Can I call you Daddy Third? Yeah, sure. Her little son, he's cool. He's adorable. You know. Erica Berry says, before we go, she says it's such an important discussion, especially in this new age of Manosphere and Andrew Tate's. Yo, funk them. And you can put this on record. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to be biased over here, but funk Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying? Well, red pill, blue pill. The only red stuff that we know is Bloods and Crips. Yeah, whatever. Cynthia says, Lil J. Yeah. That's my little dude. He want to do everything I do, from putting on deodorant and trying to take a bite of my food, come lay down on me all the time, waking me up. It's my little homie, you know. So
hey, that's what it is, though.
He knows to let mama sleep in.
That part.
He can put his head right on mine, just whoo.
Nah, for real.
Love you, cousin. All right, y'all. Well, we're out of here. We're like I said, we're gonna circle back with Black Maternal Health Week. We're gonna extend that. We're gonna talk about it. I want more Black mothers. Please come on. I'll put up the flyer to make sure that y'all come through. But yeah, definitely, I want to have a full panel of women. We want to hear from y'all as Black men. What can we do to support y'all and get this awareness up and going? We'll talk more about men's mental health. And if you have any questions that you want to ask us, feel free. We're here. So, but we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching and tuning in, for supporting Facebook, YouTube. We love you. We catch you next week. Peace.